ask an opinion? Thank you. What do you think about? One way. You have 25 items on the board. Oh my God, I can't do that. It's too difficult. 25 items, I can never remember that. Oh, I hate English. Let's change that. 1, maybe 2, 2, 1, 1, 5. Ah, okay. Oh, let me practice with my partner. I can do that. I have success. Oh, maybe English, not so bad. Right? So one of the important points is that we need to create opportunities for our students to be successful. This is proving that they are failures. We need to create activities that provide opportunities for our students to have success. So again, are our students shy to speak English?
No!
No, they're overwhelmed with too much information. Overwhelmed with too much information. I'll go through it quickly because I know I'm over time. I'm okay. So this is a picture of seating in the classroom. So again, as a teacher, one of the things I want you to think about, where do you stand and where are the students? Right? Where is this teacher standing? Right? She's not at the front of the classroom. She's walking around and she's talking. If I didn't have students here, fine. But if I didn't have students here, I'd be walking up and down. Right? Where is this student? Excuse me, where is this teacher? Again, she's not at the front. She was at the front some, but she's constantly moving around. That means the boys at the back can't be quiet. The boys at the back cannot, or the girls at the back cannot be ignored because they know that she is going to come around and she's going to be walking around the entire class. All right? Again, excellent teacher from Coupon. All right? So again, what's your purpose? Why are you standing where you are? Why do you only stay at the front of the classroom? Oftentimes when I'm observing teachers, if they're standing at the front of the classroom, the students on the first 2 rows, they get all the questions. The students at the back rarely get questions, and they start using their phones, they start sleeping, right? You're losing your class. Right? But when the teachers are walking around, then students are paying attention. So again, this is your traditional setup, right? But here, students working with students in groups, right? You have tables in 4s, right? It's ironic because every class I went to, every classroom I saw in Indonesia has movable desks, right? In Japan, we have to fight and beg for movable desks. In Japan, the desks are bolted to the floor. So English teachers have to fight to beg for movable desks. And you guys have them in every classroom, but it looks like that every time.
Yes.
Right? Only about 20% of teachers actually move their desks around. In this case, this is an excellent teacher I saw also. She started with rows of desks, right? She started with rows of desks, but then she shifted. Now it's time for group work. Let's move around and put those in groups, right? This is from Makassar. I observed her yesterday, or 2 days ago. So again, what's the purpose? What's the relevance? All right? Here's something else that's very common. How many of you as students have been asked by a teacher, okay, come up to the front of the classroom and speak or read a dialogue? How many of that has happened as students? I see it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, right? So again, what's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of that? Sometimes teachers say, oh, I want to check their understanding. Or, I want to build their confidence. Really? So, here we go. This is English. Good morning. Are you enjoying the presentation today? Right? Okay, so not too bad, not too difficult. Alright? Selamat pagi. And I can't read the rest of it, so I'm not sure. Right? But again, not too bad, right? Not too bad, right? But we forget how difficult English is for our students. We forget, because we've been studying English for so long. We forget how difficult it is for our students. So let's do this one. Ah. How do you feel? How do you feel? Whoa! Already, I haven't even asked you to do anything, and you're beginning to get a little nervous. Okay, this is Mandarin. Ah, Japanese. Okay, here we go. So now, I'm going to give you a dialogue that's 1 page long, 12 lines long, 5 minutes to practice with your partner. Now, you and your partner come in front of the class, in front of all your friends, and demonstrate that. Fun? No. Terrifying. So explain to me how you're building confidence like that. Right? So building confidence, extremely important, but that's not the way to do it. Assessment, extremely important. That's not the way to do it. You're assessing 2 students. What about the other 28 students in the class? What is happening to them? So again, that critical reflection. Critical reflection. This is from a university student. This is a university student who's becoming a teacher. A university student who's becoming an English teacher. He said, once I really hate English class. The teacher forced me to memorize grammar. In the next meeting, he asked me to go to the front of the class and he tested me. Now you must say grammar. I think, oh my God, English is really difficult. So what did this student do? This student decided he's going to skip English class. He's going to climb the fence to get out of school to avoid English class. So I don't think that builds confidence, right? So we need to think carefully about what we're doing. Now, here's an example of a teacher, again in Coupon, who used bringing students in the front very successfully. Very successfully. So the students had an opportunity to study this at home. They practiced with their partners at their desks. They came up, but you can see there's not just 2 students at the front. There's about 4 students at the front speaking to the class, but then all the other students are standing up as well, right? So it reduces the pressure and stress on individual students, right? So it's not about never have students to come up to the front. That's not true. But prepare them well enough so that they will be successful. And remember, if they're reading a dialogue, that's reading, not communication. Right? So these students actually, you can't see, but the students up here, they don't have papers. He's asking them questions. They're asking each other's questions. So it's not about don't ever have students come to the front. It's about how you do that, how you organize that. So it's that critical reflection. What's my purpose and what am I doing? So again, are students shy to speak English?
No.
No, they're terrified sometimes to speak English. They're overwhelmed, right? Or they're confused. So again, oftentimes when teachers are saying to me, I have to use Bahasa Indonesia in my classroom because my students don't understand English. Couple of things that I notice. That teachers will give instructions in English, but immediately translate it into Bahasa Indonesia. So students never have an opportunity even to try to understand the English. And oftentimes it's not the students can't understand English, but sometimes the teacher doesn't know how to say in English. And that's okay. That's okay. But next time learn the language so that you can use it. Yesterday, I saw 2 classes, junior high school classes, different schools, using exactly the same material, the same page in the textbook, the same competencies, the same indicators. One class was 80% in Bahasa Indonesia, the other class 80%, 90% in English. It's all about methodology. It's not about the students. It's all about methodology. So oftentimes what happens is that teachers You're forced on the curriculum. It's like, oh my God, I'm on page 39. I have to be on page 40. I have to be on page 41 next week. The only way that you can drag your students through that curriculum is through Bahasa Indonesia. We have to simplify our directions, simplify our language, slow down, and give students an opportunity to understand. Keep in mind, every time students understand something, that's a success. That breeds confidence. You can build on that. And that's why I say our job as teachers is to create opportunities for success for our students. What will happen is early on, your class will go very slow. Your class will be very slow. But once your students understand what you want them to do, and they understand English, then you can speed up, and you can catch up with the curriculum. All right? Your students should drive the pace of your course, not the curriculum. So, overall, English teachers have a strong foundation. The non-native speaking is an ineffective comparison. Technology is not necessary. It's complementary. Did you notice the best teachers? No technology. No technology. They're using pictures. They're talking with their students. They're using paper handouts, right? I know that you have to use technology, but think carefully about how you use it. Just using technology, if your methodology is not strong, the technology is going to make it worse, not better. So be careful. Think. Reflective teaching. Right? So critical reflection. Purpose, who's understanding, who's speaking, etc. Our students, so one more time. Are Indonesian students shy? No, they're not, right? They are overwhelmed sometimes. They are confused because we go too fast. Or they're simply uninterested or bored because the content is not relevant to them. Okay? All right? So be responsible for your own professional development. And again, if you're a practicing teacher, you don't have to change everything. If you're a practicing teacher now, you're busy in secondary school, you don't have to change everything. Change one thing this week or next week. Change another thing a couple of weeks. And after 1 year, your teaching will transform. Okay? Here are some interesting websites. These are free. You sign up for these websites and they often send you one-page information about critical thinking skills, about interaction, etc. And it's very accessible. It's very easy to read. So yes, you can pick up your phones now and you can take a picture if you like. But these are very accessible to teachers and really a lot of good information. And it's very easy. This is also a Facebook post. This is the Facebook group. It's called Teachers' Voices. This is by a colleague named Willie who teaches in Singapore, but he's actually Indonesian, but he's based in Singapore. And this is a great group to be a part of. It's all teachers. So again, my final thought, especially for experienced teachers, if you're teaching the same way that you taught 5, 10, 20 years ago, you're missing opportunities to improve your teaching. Okay? This is my information. Again, I'm going to make my slides available. If you're interested in our graduate program, Google Soka and TESOL. Also, I'm the president of JALT. Our conference is in November. We would love for you to come. But if that's, we also have open access publications and also smaller conferences throughout the year. And plus, Japan's just a pretty place. Come visit sometime. All right? Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, once again, a big applause. You take a seat and enjoy your kopi susu. So, for you to know, Professor Stroupe likes kopi susu very much, and other Indonesian food. Well, now we're ready for a Q&A session. I'd like to invite for the first round 3 people to respond. Okay, yeah. So yeah, but brief you first. Yeah. All right. Maybe yeah. So one answer, one question, one answer from Professor Stroupe. So first, Professor Asma, and then from among the students. Yes. Okay. Sit down, please. Sit down. And then one more.
Oke.
Okay. Right.
Baik. Kasih tinggi lagi.
From
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I really enjoyed the presentation. Thank you very much. I believe in one pedagogical principle which call one item at a time. When I met teachers in professional development, they complain about the content of the curriculum, which is too much for them. I'll give an example in the very first chapter of the book of the curriculum. Introduce himself. Usually this is the first item in PGU that introduce himself. And then the model of the language given in the book is quite overwhelming. I am, the model is something like this. My name is Rahman. I come from Selayar. I live on Jalan Botolimpangan. My hobby is reading 5 or 6 sentences. And then I said to the teachers, it is violating the principle of one item at a time. You should try to minimize the patterns of the language that you deliver to the students. For example, maybe you have to say only 4 sentences, which is quite easy for them. Like, I am Rahman, I am something years old, and so on. 4 sentences, same patterns, and that will be easy for them, and they will say, English is easy. And some of them tried it out, and then I went again, and they said, that's a good idea. I believe that the principle of one item at a time is a good one for building up confidence too. So what is it?
100% agree. 100% agree. I tell my students, you mentioned 4, which is fine. I mentioned to my students who are going to become teachers, is the magic number is 3. All right, so 3. 3 is a good target, right? So when I observe teachers, what I often observe is the teachers will say, okay, on page 35, I want you to read section number 1, then I want you to answer these 5 questions. And then after that, I want you to look at this, and then I want you to look at this, and then I want you to look at this. Okay, you have 20 minutes. So again, overwhelming. Too much information. I mean, these are junior high school students. Do it in Bahasa, Indonesia. They're going to be confused, right? So again, same curriculum, same materials. Let's do these 3 questions first. I give you 2 minutes. Do these 3 questions next. Give you 2 more minutes. So the same time, but not so many directions and then 20 minutes. But shorter activities, shorter time to complete. Shorter activities, shorter time to complete. And the same thing I was explaining yesterday. One of the things that I do when I teach really, really low level students is that, exactly, introductions. What questions do you ask? Think about it. Look at me, look at me. Think about it. When you meet someone for the first time, what question do you ask? Hello? How are you? Number 1. Next, what's your name? Next, where are you from? Next, well, where are you from? Where do you live now? Right? Another one would be, for example, what do you do? I'm a student. I'm a teacher. Right? And then another would be, what do you like to do? What are you interested in? Movies, sports, etc. Right? That's 5 questions. But you can start with just the 3. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? Research supports that, right? So if you look at research about what makes a good teacher, passion is always one of the top indicators. But from a personal standpoint, teaching is hard. Teaching is difficult. Teachers are busy. Teachers, students don't do a good job. It's the teacher's fault. We have to write lesson plans that maybe are not relevant, that we'll never use. We have to fill out reports. We have to come to school. We have to teach so many classes. Teaching is difficult. So the best teachers that are able to get through that process have a passion about teaching. They want to do a good job. So I think, when I interview teachers, it's very easy to see teachers who want to be a government official and to get a job compared to teachers who want to be teachers. Completely different. And there's no way to hide that in front of the classroom. There's no way to hide that in front of the classroom. The teachers that I mentioned to you that were some of the best teachers that I've seen, the gentleman from Kupang, I asked him, where did you learn about this? He said, I went to professional development on my own. I wasn't required to. I paid for it myself. I want to become a better teacher. That's passion. And that's someone who's going to be a good teacher in the future. That's why I think passion is important.
Third one. Who was it? Who was the third one? I think Sari. Can you come up, please? Or just.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity given to me. Thank you for the brief explanation that you gave us. I really enjoy it. Thank you very much. My name is Sari. I'm from Toraja, and I want to give some questions. The first is how to build students' high order thinking skills, especially in primary school. And the second question is about teaching grammar. How to teach grammar in primary school? That we know that grammar is one of the elements that a little bit hard to be understood. And can you give us some strategy to teach grammar so that the students can easily understand? Thank you very much.
2 questions. Yeah.
Higher order thinking. Okay, so higher order, I'll talk about higher order thinking skills. Actually, I have a whole nother presentation about higher order thinking skills because that's one of my areas of research. But distill it down to one point, right? If you look at higher order thinking skills, evaluation is one of the top levels, right? And evaluation is choosing a position and supporting that argument. That's evaluation, okay? So if I'm teaching economics students, for example, if I'm teaching economics students, I might ask them on an essay exam question, what mechanism would be most appropriate to reduce the fluctuations in oil prices in the next 10 years? Give me specific examples based on supply and demand. Easy or difficult?
Difficult.
Very difficult.
Very difficult.
Right? The content is very high, the language structure is very high, the vocabulary is very difficult. But basically what I'm asking is, A is better than B because 1, 2, 3. Alright? So this mechanism is better than that mechanism in order to reduce fluctuations in oil prices because 1, 2, 3. But I cannot ask my lower level students about that. But I can ask my lower level students, what's your favorite movie? My favorite movie is A because 1, 2, 3. Same structure, critical thinking skill. Let's move it down to elementary school. What's your favorite anime character? My favorite anime character is Doraemon because 1, 2, 3. That's critical thinking skills. So the key for implementing critical thinking skills at any level is linguistic and content level appropriate information for the student. If I'm talking to elementary school students, what's your favorite food? Because 1, 2, 3. What's your favorite anime character? Doraemon because 1, 2, 3. Junior high school, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite singer? What's your favorite singing group? Alright? University, then we go into content level. Right? So it's not about age, it's about language proficiency and making sure that the questions you ask are linguistically and content level appropriate. My students always understand in my class, I'll ask them a question, we have a reading, A, B, and C, right? You have a reading, you have questions, A, B, and C. And I'll ask, what's the correct answer for number 1? A. Why? Why is A correct? Why is A better than B? Why is B not as good as C? Why? Why? So my students will tell you very quickly, my favorite question in class is why. Alright? And the students also understand that if I ask them a question, so sometimes teachers will say, good morning, how are you today? Good morning, how are you today? Today we're going to be studying da-da-da-da. So the students never have a chance to answer. Right? So what are you teaching your students? You're teaching your students that if I sit here and shut up long enough, the teacher will answer the question. Right? But my students know in my class, I often say, do you understand? Or I'll ask, what is this? And I'll ask the question, and I have all day. I will wait, and wait, and wait. But I only ask questions that my students can understand and answer, right? I'll also answer, oftentimes, do you understand? Yes, no. The students will answer, yes. Do they understand? No. But I also tell my students, I answer yes or no, but if you answer yes, my turn. I'm going to ask you a question. Right? So, but it's also okay. So if I ask you a question, do you understand? Yes, no. It's okay to say no. It's like, okay, you ask me a question. Still, my job as a teacher to make sure you understand. But once you say yes, my turn. Alright? So again, that's taking responsibility for your learning. So the critical thinking is all about questioning. The questions you ask and about linguistically and content level appropriateness. The second question?
It's about grammar teaching.
Grammar teaching for young, I would never use, I would use very few grammatical terms with them. I would, have place cards, like cards with a subject and a verb, and I like or I play, things like that. For young learners, it always has to be a game. It has to be fun for them, right? So you can, if you have cards, right? I like chocolate. Then we have a subject, a verb, and an object. It becomes a matching game. And let them enjoy the matching game, right? But only teach them grammar terminology if it's necessary, right? A lot of times it's not necessary. I speak Japanese. I speak some Japanese. I speak some Thai. I don't know the grammatical names of a subject or a verb or an object in Japanese. Watashi no namae wa Richmond desu. But I can speak that. I know what this is a subject. I know what the verb is, but I don't know what the name of a subject or the name of a verb is in Japanese because it's not necessary. So if you want to include the grammatical terminology, make it a game. Make it a matching game. Make it some type of game that they can play together.
Okay. Thank you. So that's for the first round. Everything okay for the second round? We still have about 10 minutes before 11.
I'm fine.
20 minutes before 11.
I've had my coffee,
Okay, we have the focuses. Another 3 people with questions. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, all right. I think we'll start from the back. Yeah. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elisha, and I'm from English Literature, age 17. I would like to ask the questions. I think learning English in school is some kind of like old style. And I think most of the teenagers nowadays learn English from movies, games, and songs. And what do you think about it, and what's the advantage and advantageous stuff? Thank you.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah. So I think, when I travel around and I speak to non-native speakers of English, the non-native speakers of English who speak the most fluently and the most authentically learn through music and movies, not in the classroom. So I see nothing wrong with learning through social media, through music, through movies. And as a teacher, I would bring that in the class, especially if I'm teaching junior high school or high school students. I would bring that into the classroom as often as I could. Now, sometimes the curriculum is going to fit well with some music or something about social media. Sometimes it's not, so that's okay. But when you can, bring it in. It goes back to my point about relevancy. Not only social media or movies or music, but anything that's interesting to students, anything that's relevant to their daily life, right? I think is really important, and allow them the opportunity to use the language to communicate and speak about their ideas. I think is really, at whatever level. But if it's very, very simple grammar, if students never have the opportunity to say, hello, how are you, what's your name, I am from, if they don't have a chance for that, they don't have an opportunity to realize success, they don't have an opportunity to gain experience, gain confidence. If they don't have an opportunity to listen to you speak English and use English confidently and happily, they'll never see that, they'll never have that model. One of the teachers yesterday said a wonderful statement, because I asked her, if I was a teacher and I said, my students don't understand, I have to use Bahasa Indonesia, I can't use English, how would you respond to that? And the teacher said, if not you, who is going to demonstrate English to them? If not the English teacher, who will? If not in the classroom, where will they get it?